Imagine you're chilling at your minimum wage job and one day your favorite anime ever has announced that there is a way to travel to that world through a portal. But if you go in the portal, you cannot come back unless you've gone through the complete story. Are you taking that offer? Well, if you said no, you are taking this offer because this is my video. How would one survive Phantom Blood? Now, this is given the fact that you're a regular person, no hormone, you're not a vampire, at least you're trying not to get turned into one, and you are traveling along with Joseph Joestar in Speedwagon. That's it. Those are the only things you have protecting you. Jonathan Joestar and Speedwagon. Yes, Will Zeppeli is there, but he's not there for that long, so yeah. But so in this position, as someone in Phantom Blood Part 1, you would essentially take the position of Paco, I think, or Poco from Part 1. Y'all remember that one guy, that one kid that was trying to scale the mountain after like bothering Jonathan and Will? Yeah, you're taking his spot. In all honesty, if you really do want to survive Phantom Blood, your best bet is just to allow the fights that already played out to play out. But there is a point in time where you will have to be brave, because one of the things Poco does in the story is, I'm pretty sure when Will Zeppeli was chained up against that beast in the castle, Poco goes in, he opened the gate so that Jonathan could get in there and help Will. You're going to have to open the gate. Now, do you think you can do that against this behemoth right here? Other than that, you continue to march past back to your old, I think, town, and go all the way to Dio's castle, where you see Dio and y'all meet him for the second time. As the first time you saw, he quite blandly overpowered Will Zeppeli and Jonathan Joestar, so you got a little nervous. And as y'all are standing there, Dyer goes in to try to beat him, angry because Zeppeli had just died, and he gets his entire body frozen. Yeah, it wasn't pretty for him. Now you make the idiotic mistake of accidentally stepping forward. Now, of course, you didn't step past anyone else, but you stepped somewhat forward. And that caused these zombies to come out the bushes of the castle and start jumping on you. Luckily, you're surrounded by hormone users, so Anton Petty really helped save you, because if not, you would have been dead. And now you get front row seats to the best fight in the house, Jonathan versus Dio, where Jonathan, after getting his blood frozen and his arms and legs frozen and his blood injected with vampiric blood, he ends up beating Dio, sending him off a cliff, and you are home free. Like, seriously, you're good for this part. Now, granted, you're sad to learn later that your best friend died on that ship. You don't know how he died. No one's ever found his body. Everyone just knows that he died. But you are happy to learn that Arena ended up making it, so you went to America to settle in America and help Arena. That leads you into part 2, where now you are collateral damage. Because you decided to stick around, we have to change history slightly, just a little bit. Because that means Straight-So does one of 3 things to you. He either kills you before the part starts in 1938, or he almost kills you and you get the Speedwagon treatment with Speedwagon within the cave where Straight-So got the stone mask. Either way, you're almost taken out pretty fast. As Straight-So even said, he did it and he was planning on taking out everyone who knew who he was, which was the Joestars, plus now you and Speedwagon, because everyone else died. And Paco, he just never left his village again. He probably just lived the rest of his life peacefully and normally. I mean, as normally as you can after witnessing zombies from the 1500s and vampires fight regular humans that saved you. But for the sake of your indestructible plot armor, you end up being one of the people in the excavation camp, or in the excavation team, with Straight So and Speedwagon and the rest of his team. And you ended up being a co-founder of Speedwagon Foundations, only because you and Speedwagon both found that oil. And Straight So, not wanting any of your bodies to be found, dumps both of your bodies into the river like he did in real life with Speedwagon's body. But unfortunately for y'all, this is 1939, and Germany loves to do very weird tests. So of course, both of your bodies end up being taken from that river in New York and taken all the way to Germany, where you wake up tied right next to Speedwagon, and they tell you about the Pillarmen that you were just researching. Again, lucky for you, you ended up being good with Arena by this point. So because you were good with Arena, and you basically ended up taking care of two lineages of Joestar blood, her grandson Joseph Joestar is more than happy to help once he figures out y'all are still alive. So of course, in natural part 2 events, he goes to the cabin, finds y'all, where he also meets Santana, and we see that fight. Now of course, again, I'm still being generous because I could have ended this video like, and Santana ripped you apart like a Christmas ham. And that would still not be too far-fetched, you know. Santana did rip through all the soldiers with guns like in seconds flat. But good thing Joseph and Stroheim is there, and you're just there for moral support. And the fact you kind of discovered these Pillarmen and you've been helping research them, to be generous to at least end your part in part 2 for the time being, at least until I make another video like this. Joseph beats Santana the same way, and you and Speedwagon both end up directing Joseph straight to Lisa, where the events continue to play as they usually do. Now, the only difference is you and Speedwagon go back to the Foundation, and instead of waiting a very long time to gather your troops, y'all rather gather them now. So the final plan to stop them has already started before Joseph Joestar has even met Lisa, Caesar, or the actual 3 Pillarmen that everyone should be worried about. But that's really all I got for y'all today. If y'all enjoyed this video and this type of video, let me know and I'll make a part 2. But until next time, peace.